Hey team, Rowyn here. I was recently asked how I come up with monster designs. And I think it was because of a video I did, Go Forth My Minions, is a game Rob's doing, and I'm designing some of the characters for that. And I've also designed monsters for my comics, and obviously I do Mutation March every year. And normally I would say, to start from scratch, but we're not doing from scratch. That's going to be an entirely different video. This is for when you don't have a basic thought about shape and the form that you want to go with. You can start with a different form. You can start with an animal, or even a fruit. You can start with whatever, and then make it worse. So, you've seen some examples of start with one thing, like a deer, or not that it's a well-drawn deer, but, you can tell it's a deer, and then you make it worse. That's all I'm going to show you how to do today. How to make a thing worse. So let's go with this duck. I drew this duck for a Manticore Manor video on our other channel a long time ago for a throwaway joke, and now I have a duck. So, how do we make it worse? Tried and true method of making something worse is adding spider legs. Let's get rid of the beak. It's a little too cute. Let's add a different kind of mouth instead. You can also make it have a human skull instead. That's always a good way to go. I've done that plenty of times. Here's some examples of things with human skulls that shouldn't have human skulls. You can also take away a face. Just entirely, no face. That's another way to go. What else can we do to this duck? What if instead of the wings, just has human hands? You see what I'm saying here? You can just make it worse. You can always make it worse. Don't worry, you can make it worse. Hands that are vaguely human. Too many eyes. If it's starting to get a little too close to being like a person, that can actually be useful. So while you're still being quite outside humanity, you're gonna get that kind of not quite uncanny valley situation. This works even if you think you can't draw humans. That doesn't really matter. You just need it to be vaguely people-like. Adding parts from another animal, like a scorpion, known to be dangerous, is useful, because you're borrowing that danger for our whatever other animal we might do, like the deer from before had a scorpion tail. As you've seen, sometimes I'll just make the legs really pointy, nonsensical, and sharp. And sometimes I'll keep them more like the original animal, because that adds a different kind of horror, like in the tooth horse, right? The horror here is how close it is to still being a horse. Like if you just saw the silhouette in a dark forest, you wouldn't know the truth until it was too late. Or you could go realistic for the wrong things, right? Such as this hand horse. The parts are technically correct, but in the wrong order, or in the wrong place, and it's, people parts. People parts on a horse. You can also take away parts. For example, purebred. Get it? I thought this was very funny. Point is, I took a dog and I made him a square, so he was a loaf of bread. So what about starting with something other than an animal? I mentioned fruit, right? So let's make an apple. Just a very basic, here's how to draw an apple. And then we'll make it worse. Using all the things I already said. We're gonna make a horrible thing out of this apple. Join me on this adventure. Too many legs, too many eyes. Any is too many, it's an apple. Too many teeth. It no longer looks like an apple. It looks sort of buggish. I made something horrible. And that's a beautiful thing. Make some simple monsters and get a picture, upload it somewhere, tell me where to find it, and in the comments let me know. Let me know how it went. Let me know if this is an easy thing for you to do or if it's too complicated still. Now, this process that I've decided to go with does require some idea of how to draw an animal to begin with. Unless you want to take a photograph and do all this on the picture, you could absolutely do that too. Why not? That's fun. Let's make monsters. Let's make mutations. And during Mutation March, which takes place all of March, you should join me and the creator of Mutation March, Teresa Galosaurus, for Mutation March, because it is fun, and there's a prompt list usually, kind of, and you can do this. You can mutate all these different animals, and you learn about different animals. It's a fun exercise. And in general, I like doing this horrible thing. It's a very good, well-meaning animals. And it's not like I can draw all animals, but especially not from memory, right? I'm always using reference. And even when I'm using a reference, sometimes it's very difficult for me to draw the animal I'm trying to draw. So this is not like some magic whatever. Some people can draw animals really well. Some people absolutely cannot. Sometimes it depends on the animal. Part of why House Frightdorable, the comic I do every week, is about a little black cat, I can just make her basically a blob with ears, and she still reads as cat. Because we all understand cats are liquids. Other animals don't work quite that way. But if you want to make something weird, you add eyeballs. Or teeth. Or all of the above. Let's do one more. I'm not going to draw something new for you, I'm just going to show you this rock that has a human eye on it. Because I feel like this is the point that I'm trying to make. You can make anything into a monster. You can make anything just a little bit more bizarre, just a little bit more unsettling. And I think that's the mantra I'm going to leave you with today. Rock on.